to be the servant of the world is not so common. We seem to have lost our sense that the primary thing is about a vocation. We seem to have lost that just about as much as the ancient Israelites did. How different is the church from ancient Israel? We have all of our reasons for being confident. Some will add to this confidence this way. They'll say, well, look it, just like the Pharisees did. One sign that we are the blessed and special and holy people of God is that we are healthy and that we are wealthy. We're so blessed by God. We couldn't be this blessed unless we were special before God. And so we interpret some of those same signs of the covenants that the ancient Pharisees did. Proof of that God is on our side is that we are so blessed. And then some add to that another layer of self-assurance. Not only are we Christians and not only are we blessed and believe the right things and have our religion and are very confident, but we are also Americans. And everybody knows that God is on the side of America and we are the blessed nation, one nation under God. And our causes are always righteous and just. And God fights on our side against the evildoers. That's why Christians are often the biggest cheerleaders when America goes to war, proclaiming that this is a holy war, despite the fact that Jesus tells us to love our enemies. And so they rally around that. We're American and we're Christian and we're confident that we are the ones who will be at the table. We've got to let this parable question that, call that basis of our confidence into question. Let's add, Israel, remember, was called to be the servant of the world, to manifest and embody God's character, humble character, to win the world back to Yahweh. Is the church doing that? Is the church known for its self-sacrificial love and for its humility? Are we known for the way that we attract people to Jesus by our humble service? Are we attracting people to Jesus because of our humility and humble servant love? Do we look like Jesus? Jesus, it's interesting to note, wherever he went, though he's the one sinless person in history, he attracted prostitutes and tax collectors. Prostitutes being the lowest form of immoral sin groups in the first century. The tax collectors were sort of the wealthy, greedy people who everyone despised because they're ripping off their own people. He attracted those folks to himself. They stayed clear of the Pharisees because the Pharisees judged them. Jesus was the one truly holy person in history, but he had a kind of holiness that didn't repel sinners, it attracted sinners. Because they were the ones that the invitation was being extended to. The Pharisees had a kind of holiness. It was a religious holiness, a legalistic holiness, a judgmental holiness, and it repelled those sorts of people. So the church today has got to ask itself, where are the prostitutes and the tax collectors? If we're the body of Christ, we're supposed to be doing the exact same thing that Jesus did, attracting the same people that Jesus did, extending the same invitation that Jesus did. Where are the prostitutes and the tax collectors? It seems to me that on the whole, the tax collectors and prostitutes of our day steer as clear from the church as they did the Pharisees in the first century, which has got to force on us the conclusion that to a large degree, thank God for the beautiful exceptions, but to a large degree, the church embodies the spirit of Phariseeism more than it does the spirit of Jesus. There's no other possible conclusion to come to. I read a book several weeks ago called Unchristian. Anybody ever read that book? It's a hard-hitting book. It basically does a survey of what is the perception of Christians among non-Christians in America. And it ain't pretty. Ask the question, what are we known for? Well, the book, I could summarize it shortly by saying this. What the book reveals is that we're known for a lot of things. Conservative Christians especially are known for a lot of things. But humility and self-sacrificial love isn't in the top 100. And I can't think of a greater indictment on the church as a whole than that. We're not known for that. Now, of course, the old excuse is, well, we are the most loving people on the planet. They just don't get it. They just don't know what real love is. And I submit to you that just is one more sign of our arrogance. You can get a husband who, and this is not hypothetical, who mistreats his wife and is incourteous to his wife, but he insists that he's the most loving husband in the world. The wife just doesn't get it. But maybe if the wife and the friends say, no, dude, you really are a jerk, you don't treat your wife right, maybe he'd be wise to listen to that. If you want to know whether you're loving or not, maybe you're not the right one to ask. Ask the person you're supposed to be loving. So we got to ask the world, do you feel loved by us? And the answer they're giving unequivocally is no. The perception they have is that Christians see themselves as sort of the righteous club, the holy club, the truth club, and sort of set apart, over there. And everyone knows, the studies are out, everyone knows, it's kind of obvious that in terms of core values, we're no different than un-Christians. In terms of greed, we're just the same as un-Christians. Gluttony, same as the non-Christians. Just as prone towards violence as the non-Christian. More self-righteous than most of the non-Christians. Have a divorce rate that is actually higher than the non-Christians. You know, there's not a whole lot to set us apart, but by golly, we set ourselves up as the group who really know God, who really stand for truth and righteousness, and we're going to fix America. We're going to take America back for God. We're the defenders of truth and justice, and we're here to save marriages from those gay people, not our divorces, but from those gay people. We're the ones who will stand for that, and we'll take prayer back into school, and we're going to fix the world, and we're going to fight with America to rid the world of evildoers. And all the non-Christians around are looking at this holy club, and they're saying, you have got to be kidding us. You've got to be kidding us. Oh, and by the way, we are most loving. And that, folks, the parable has got to just confront us. Has got to confront us. And I feel like this is a word that the church needs to hear and have the humility to receive. The truth is, and what this parable is revealing, is that we are no better than anybody. We're no more righteous than anybody. We're no more holy than anybody. We're not smarter than anybody. We got nothing on anybody. We are not a holy club. We are not a saved club. We're not a Fix America club. We're not a Fix Society club. We're not the Fix the World club. We can't even fix ourselves, for crying out loud. We've got no place to judge anybody, and God never called us to judge anybody. He's the only judge who decides who's inside and outside. Our one job description is to serve, is to love, is to be humble. Our one job description, and it's what God called Israel to, and we're to embody it, is to manifest in our life, in our deeds, how we spend our money, how we spend our time, to manifest God's outrageous love, this outrageous invitation, this Ali Ali in free, come one and come all. It's to manifest the humble servant character of God. It's to reach out to those that society trods on and the ones that religion most judges. We're just a bunch of beggars who found some food, and our one job is to extend that food to other people. Got nothing on anybody. It means in the kingdom, if this parable says anything to us, it means that at the foundation of true godliness is humility. Humility that is very aware that the playing field is leveled. And that there's no points given for your righteousness or what you think is your righteousness. In the kingdom, that's why Jesus said, blessed are the lowly, blessed are the poor, blessed are the meek, blessed are the humble. And why the Bible, from beginning to end, is against any kind of arrogance and haughtiness and judgment. Humility is the foundation for the whole thing. That's why Jesus said, consider your own sin to be a 2x4 coming out of your eye, a tree trunk, a log, whatever it may be, and whatever sin you see in another person, consider that to be a mere dust particle. Now, society may say, oh, their sin's way worse than your sin. Society and religion has all this kind of sin gradation stuff. But in the kingdom, we're not to have that. We're to consider our own sin to be much greater than whatever sin we see in another person, which is why we're to consider it an honor to wash their feet, an honor to serve them, and an honor to, in our life, invite them to the banquet table. It's why Paul said in 1 Timothy chapter 1, verses 15 and 16, here's a saying that everybody should repeat. Jesus Christ came into this world to save sinners, of whom I am the worst. To consider whatever sin we see in another, ours is worse than that. And see, if a fraction of Christians did that, we would be known as the most humble, self-effacing, servant people on the planet, rather than the arrogant, holy club, saved club, righteous club that thinks it can fix other people. We're called to humility. It means there's no points given in the kingdom. Because we realize that this invitation that we have received, this banquet that we feast on, is not based on us, it's based on the host. It's based on the graciousness of the host, the opulent resources of the host, and the fact that he wants his house full. We get included because he wants his house full. There's no points given because you happen to believe the right things as opposed to the wrong things. I'm glad you believe all the right things, but there's no points for that, sorry. There's no points given because you come to church. There's no points given because you pray more than other people. There's no points given because you're straight rather than gay, or you're wealthy rather than poor, or you're healthy rather than disabled, or you belong to this political party rather than that political party. There's no points because it's all a matter of free grace. It's all a matter of God's love. We're invited as beggars who are hungry, and that's it. Amen. Humility is the foundation for the whole thing. So we need to check ourselves. Is there any part of our being? See, if you are really invested in the religion thing, in the point system, in a